Yo, what's going on, guys? It's Houston Sports Talk back into the video day, and today the Houston Astros beat the Seattle Mariners 4-3. What a win for the Astros! Astros clinch the AL West for the fourth straight year, and the seven out of the last 8 years, the Astros have clinched the AL West. The only thing I got to say about 7 of 8 is that it would be 8 straight if it wasn't for a shortened season. I know the Astros didn't look too sharp in 2020, but I have faith that the Astros, if it was the normal amount of the season, not 60 games where the Astros go 28-32 in the first 60 games of the season, but the full 162 games in that 2020 season, that the Houston Astros would have won the division that year. You know, instead of the Oakland A's. That's all right. The Astros started their own streak, and it's been the last 4 years winning the division, and they do it again. So they did in 2021, they did in 2022, last year, of course, and this year again. So it's awesome. I would have loved 8 straight years winning this division. I think it would have happened, but it's all right. We all went into a major world pandemic, and because of that, the MLB did have to cut down from 162 to 60. So, all right, let's move on from that. But I do believe it would be 8 straight. We saw this Astros team fight back this year. What an unbelievable comeback. 12-24, 36 games in. That's when everybody was concerned. Hey, I was concerned. It's like there were a lot of I think there were a lot of Astros fans that lost hope in this team. I'm not going to say I lost hope in this team, but I really was concerned with the way they were playing. I'm not someone who ever counted them out. I'm not someone who ever said that, just because of just because of the bad start that things were over for this team. I definitely had a lot of concerns throughout the first 73 games. Because when the Astros were 33-40, I think we all had concerns. If you're an Astros fan and you didn't have a concern throughout the first 73 games of the season, I don't know what to say. But I think there were some Astros fans that just had concerns, and although they had concerns, they knew the Astros would get through it. But then there were some Astros fans that just attacked the team on social media. Or just gave up on the franchise. That was not me. Although I did have a lot of concerns throughout the struggles early on, but I'm so glad the Astros were able to get out of those struggles and win this division. And I think it's only right that this Houston Astros team won this division. Right in front of the team that they had to chase back 10 games back from the Mariners. What was it? I'm trying to remember correctly. Was it Mitch Garver or was it Cal Riley who said something about the Astros? He was happy because the Astros were losing. It might have been Mitch Garver, but I feel like it was Cal Riley. It was one of the two that said something about about the Astros losing. He was happy the Astros were losing. And I remember it was right after he said something. It was one of the two of them. I think it was Garver, but right after it was said, the Astros started winning ball games. So I'm glad that they won this game in front of the entire Mariners team, and not just in front of the entire Mariners team, but especially in front of Mitch Garver or Cal Riley, whoever said it. But yeah, so happy to see the Astros win. Now I want to get into something before I get into this game. Astros are the 3 seed. Their previous 2 losses, losing on Monday and losing on Sunday, that kind of knocks them out of being the 2 seed. If the Astros didn't have some slip-ups in these last couple games, the Astros actually could have potentially, if they had a good series in Cleveland, could have been in play for the 2 seed. But since the Astros dropped 2 in a row before this win tonight, and the Guardians are obviously playing great baseball, the Astros have no shot of getting to that 2 seed, which would have been perfect to get the bye. That's all right. But now we know the Astros are definitely going to be the 3 seed, and they're definitely going to be in the wild card. That means a couple things. Number 1, Joe can maybe potentially rest some of his players in these final 4 games. Number 2, what I wanted to talk about was I don't know who I want this Astros team to face. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section. Who do you want the Astros to face in the wild card? And that's where I get into this. Here are your kind of options right now. The two teams in the 5 and 6 spot, you got the Tigers in the 5 seed, and you have at the 6 seed, or sorry, the 5 seed is the Royals, and then the 6 seed is the Tigers. If the season ended today, AJ Hinch and the Red Hot Tigers would come into Houston. Now, obviously, there are four games left for most of MLB teams. So with that being, maybe some teams have 5 games left. With that being said, you have two teams like the Minnesota Twins and the Seattle Mariners creeping up, creeping up, trying to get to that 6 or 5 seed, trying to get in. The Mariners are, with this loss, are 2.5 games back from the 6 seed. The Twins are 2. Me personally, I'm not gonna lie. I kind of want to face the Mariners. I kind of want us to face the Mariners. I look at the other teams. I know the Astros had some success against the Royals in the series against them. I believe we swept them, if I'm correct. I believe we did sweep them. But even though we had success against them in part of the regular season in Houston, let's not talk about what happened in Kansas City, because that was brutal. Although that was way earlier. But yes, the Astros have success against Kansas City later in the season in Houston. But I don't know. Bobby Witt Jr. scares me, and they have some good pitchers. So it's a tough pitching rotation, and one of the best hitters in baseball. That's not in a 3-game series. That's not a matchup I really love so much. If it was a normal ALDS, ALCS series, would have loved. I wouldn't mind the Astros facing one of those teams in a 5 or 7 game series, but in a 3-game series, not too confident. Well, it's not like I wouldn't be confident in the Astros, but I'd definitely be scared of that team facing Kansas City. The Tigers don't really scare me, but I know they have Skubal, and I know he'd be on the mound in Game 1. I know they have AJ Hinch, who knows this team well. That scares me. And I know they have one of the hottest teams in baseball right now. That's never good when, going into the wild card. So I look at the Tigers and I look at the Royals, the two teams at the 5 and 6 right now, and I don't think I want to face them. And I look at the team that's creeping up on those two teams and the Minnesota Twins. We all know what Carlos Correa can do in the playoffs. He had some success against the Astros last year in the ALDS. I don't want to face him and that team in the playoffs. Now, look at the Mariners. They're 2.5 games back. I would love for the Astros to face the Mariners. They know this team. They've faced this team a bunch, being in the division. They've beat this team in the playoffs. They have an interim manager who has not a lot of experience in these type of situations in the wild card or in the playoffs. So I think it's the perfect situation for these two teams to match up against each other in the wild card. I don't know if it happens with them being 2.5 games back. I know the Astros play the Mariners again tomorrow. I know the Mariners finish off their season against the Athletics, so I think it's a possibility. I think the Astros would actually have to probably lose tomorrow if they were going to face the Mariners. I don't know if the Astros would lose intentionally just so they, for matchup reasons, to potentially help their favor of matching up against these Mariners. I mean, the Astros are at a time right now where losing doesn't really, hurt them. I mean, they've won the division. They're locked in as a 3 seed. If they feel like they have a good shot against Seattle in a series compared to other teams like Detroit, Minnesota, or Kansas City, maybe they do potentially intentionally lose tomorrow. I don't know if they'd go that far, but honestly, I think right now, knowing the potential of the other teams, Bobby Witt Jr. and the pitching staff of Kansas City, familiar faces like Carlos Correa and AJ Hinch, in a 3-game wildcard series, I think I'd rather these Astros face the Mariners than any of those other teams, but we'll see what happens. All right, let's get into this game, though. 4-3 is the final score. 9 hits for the Mariners, 6 hits for the Astros, 0 errors in the ballgame. Win goes to Valdez. He's 15-7 on the year now. This was a rough start for Valdez. He did bounce back, but it was a rough beginning for Fromber in this game. 5 2/3, 8 hits, 3 earned runs, 4 strikeouts, 2 walks in the first couple innings, or first 3 innings. He gave up 3 runs and was having a tough time. But over the next 2 innings and 2/3, he was actually really able to get comfortable and really got to the point where he could be the best of himself in this game. Gave it 8 hits, 3 runs, 4 strikeouts, and 2 walks. Loss goes to Logan Gilbert. He's 8-12 on the year now. 6 innings pitched, 5 hits given up, 4 earned runs, 6 strikeouts, 1 walk. Save goes to Josh Hader, 34th save of the year. His potential last save of the year could be his best. I mean, I'm not going to rule out this could be Josh Hader's last save of the year. I heard the Astros announcers talking about how you very well could see Joe Espada resting his players going into the wild card series. Josh Hader could be one of those guys that definitely potentially could find himself being you're getting some rest before the postseason. There are other guys who are capable of getting a save for this team in these final 4 games. I don't know if Joe will really rest him for the final 4 games. If I had to make a prediction, I would say that we see Josh Hader one more time this season. He gets his 35th save of the season, and then that's it. We'll see him for the wild card series. But at the same time, I wouldn't be surprised if he rests Josh these next 4 games, so he could potentially be available for maybe the entire wild card, as it's only 3. It's a 3-game wild card, so maybe Joe makes him available for that entire series potentially. If he rests him for these next 4 games, we'll see what happens with Josh. All right, scoring summary. Alex Bregman hit a first-inning home run to center, 424 feet to make it 1-0, and then Polanco hit one in the second inning. I really felt like the start of this game, or really the entire game, it felt like a playoff game. I don't know how other people feel about that, but to me it felt like a playoff game. But Breggy started off with a home run, that home run to center. Man, did that feel good for me as a fan to see that after the offensive struggles last night. And then in the second and third inning, it just got bad. It was 3-1. I mean, it wasn't terrible, but things weren't looking great. Randy Arozarena hit an RBI double to right. Rodriguez scored. It's 2-1. Polanco singled to left for an RBI. He was red hot in his first 2 at bats. It's 3-1. Honestly, in my head, what was going on when it was 3-1, I was thinking, I don't know if we come back and win this game, but if we don't, I think it'd be awesome if they close out this series tomorrow with a win, and Yusei Kikuchi got the Astros the win tomorrow. What I was thinking about was, obviously I want to see the Astros win this game, but if they don't win this one tonight and they win tomorrow, it'd be awesome for Yusei Kikuchi to be part of the division clinching when everybody criticized that trade. Everybody criticized Dana Brown. We'll see how Yusei does tomorrow. I mean, tomorrow he's not going to be playing for the division, but I still expect him to have a good start tomorrow. But, I mean, this is a Mariners team that is now fighting not for the wild card and the division, solely just the wild card. So I think their offense are, they're going to come in firing, ready to win this ball game because they are fighting for their lives right now more than ever. But yeah, in the 4th inning, Kyle Tucker hit a home run to right, 336 feet, 3-2. He's been kind of off these last couple games after being red hot, later last week, at the end of the week. And it was great to see him hit the home run to right, 336 feet. It's 3-2. And then Jason Hayward hit a blast in the 5th inning. Honestly, my thought process when Jason Hayward had that at bat, after the Caratini single and after Pena was able to drive Caratini to second base on a sacrifice. What I was thinking in my head was, Jason Hayward we're gonna either see a single to center field to tie this ball game up at 3, or he's crushing one, and he killed it. Home run to right center, 397 feet. Caratini scored 3-4. I was really thinking he was about to tie the game up with a single, but I thought if it wasn't that, we were going to see a moonshot, and we saw a moonshot because he's been red hot recently, and a big reason why we won the division with that 2-run home run by Jason Hayward. Another amazing addition by Dana Brown and the Houston Astros. All right, let's go over some hitters. Jose Altuve with another off game, 0 for 4. Look, over these next 4 games, I've talked about rest, guys getting rest. This is a guy that needs some rest. And I think he showed it offensively in these last 2 games. I think he's like 1 for 8. So I'd like to see Altuve get the day off tomorrow, or at some point in the Guardians series, a couple days off. He needs it. He definitely needs it going into the wild card, because if you're in a situation where it's 3 games to win against a good team like the Twins or the Tigers, or it's, God forbid, the Royals, they're gonna need number 27 to be ready to go and at his best. And I think a couple of days off, if not maybe more than a couple of days off, we'll get him ready to go for that wild card series. Now, next, Kyle Tucker went 1 for 4, home run to right, 336 feet. I think he's another guy that's going to get some time off. He needs some time off. He's been hitting great recently. It's not an Altuve problem. Like, Altuve's kind of been off a little bit lately. Tucker's been on fire recently, but I think with the injury he had, he just came back from. He deserves and needs some time off. Alex Bregman, I don't know if they give him any time off. I'm sure they'll give him at least a day off. But he hit a home run and reached on an infield single. We'll see. I think it will be pretty interesting to see what Joe Espada does with these lineups over these next 4 games, and how he plays the giving players time off. But John Singleton went 0 for 2. He had a 6th inning walk at the DH night. Caratini went 1 for 3. Big single in the 5th inning to get that going, which led to the Hayward home run. Jeremy was able to bring him into scoring position with the sacrifice to first in the 5th inning. But outside of that, he was 0 for 2. Hayward, player of the game for the Astros with that 2-run home run in the 5th. That was it for Hayward. And Dubon went 0 for 3. Went over Valdez and went over Josh Hader pitching in this game tonight. But Brandon Brady was big for the Astros in the the end of the 6th and the 7th inning. Didn't give up a hit, didn't give up a run, didn't give up a walk, had a strikeout, and got it all done in 10 pitches, 4 outs and 10 pitches. Ryan Presley kind of struggled. He gave up a walk and a hit. Only was able to get 2 outs of the 8th inning. That's when they called on Josh Hader to get the 4-out save. And he had 3 strikeouts for the Astros, and that was it. So, love to see it. Astros get the win 4-3. They clinched the division for the 4th straight year and 7 of the last 8 years. And let me know your thoughts on the win for the Astros in the comment section. And peace out. Go Stros.